that would be like I would be caught short in a conversation or a situation and it would all go downhill. It really is like a weird, like, I need to know what's going on at all times. It's fucked up.
It's an addiction.
That's why it's hard for me to like shut my phone off at any time. And it's not because I need to contact with people I know. It's about I need information from people I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's terrible. And I have tried or am going to try harder in the new year to just 1 hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, whatever, to tune out from everybody who's not around me or only pay attention to the people who are in the same space as me. Because it's incredibly rude, even if somebody, because you're not even aware you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's really like a subconsciously like, oh, let me check what's going on with the Mets. It's fucked up and it's terribly rude.
Worst?
And I'm aware of it.
Does anybody check that?
Huh?
Does anybody check what's going on with the Mets?
I think I do. I know some real weirdos who really check out what's going on with the Mets, but whatever.
Okay.
And especially in a year like 2020 that was such a busy news cycle, like I didn't want to be caught not knowing something.
Yeah. Well,
even
that's
though
part
I
of your
would
job.
be fine. I use that as an excuse. It's part of my job. You know, I never want to get caught in a conversation where I didn't know,
God forbid you didn't know
the price
everything.
of corn, in case I was in Nebraska and it came up. It's a terrible thing, and I get it. And so it goes back to recognizing the problem and why you do it. So if you cut back on that time, you're probably going to become more aware and engaged of the people around you and the surroundings around you and the opportunities around you, which we talked about on the last one. I think it's a really good idea. And so, and it doesn't have to just be social media. It can be whatever is your time suck.
Yeah, for sure. You have to have like business hours for social media.
Yeah, you do. That's a good idea. Like hours for others are closed. And so it's just either my time or our time or whatever it is. I think that's a really good
it's a healthy boundary.
Exercise. Yeah. So cold turkey is probably not a good idea because then you would be so much thinking about what you're missing that you wouldn't do that. But slow it down or take time outs or take Sundays off. Pretend you're Chick-fil-A. Just shut it down on a Sunday, Hobby Lobby, which is going bankrupt, I think, is closed on Sundays.
Yeah.
And Sundays to me as a non-hobbyist craft person seems like that would be a busy day for a Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. They are.
No wonder you're going bankrupt, Hobby Lobby. You're going to have to pick a different day.
It's because of all right.
Is it a religious thing?
Yeah, it's the not Mormon, but
some sort of evangelicals.
Yeah, it's the one.
Sundays.
There's a very specific reason, same as Chick-fil-A, but they were going bankrupt because of opening when everything was supposed to be closed, and then they didn't pay their employees or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, but you could pick I don't think if take one day off. It doesn't have to be Sunday. It could be like the hair salon.
Brian, it's the Lord's day.
The Lord would say take a day. He didn't say Monday through Friday. It's like 7 days and rest. So start your week on Tuesday, right? I just solved the Hobby Lobby's problems. Sorry, Chick-fil-A.
They won't be bankrupt. No,
they won't be bankrupt. That 14.3% of time you were closed, you're gonna have to open back up. I don't know how we got to that, but anyway,
I don't either.
All right, next one. I'm going to go into the new year with a hopeful mindset. Brian, you are always preaching the importance of hope, and me and a lot of other people have lost a lot of it in the last year, but I'm determined to give it a go. Yay to hope for 2021. I assume her name is not Hope, but that would be good. I'm going to go for hope in 2021. Absolutely. If people be like, listen, this year was not great, for a lot of reasons. And for a lot of people, the year was fine, but a lot of people wasn't great. 2021, I'm going to go into it optimistically that it's either going to be better in comparison to this year, or it's just going to be better. It's going to be one of the greatest years of, my life. There's no downside in that.
No, if you go into something thinking it's going to be, if we would have started 2020, like January 1st, 2020, saying this year is going to be a dumpster fire because last year wasn't great, like you would have, had a nervous breakdown.
You're right. If you went to like, oh my God, it's going to be, last year sucked, but you made it through it. This one's going to be even worse.
Yeah. If you're that pessimistic about things, it's, not going to have anyone around you to even.
And a calendar or a date on a calendar is sort of a random, arbitrary like this. Like magically things shouldn't change at 12:01 on January 1st, but you can flip that switch in your brain and the way you approach things and the way you think about things, and really, be hopeful and be optimistic.
All we have.
It really is all we have, and it's really the only thing you're in control of. Like, I get that people and situation in life might let you down, but if you're positive and you're like, it's going to end up this way, or I have this, at the end of the tunnel, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Good. I didn't understand that in 2020, where people were really obsessed and focused on the worst possible news. And I would get criticized all the time. But like, I'm looking for the bright side. I'm looking for the happy statistic. I'm looking for the good part of this. And people be like, annoyed. You're not allowed to say anything positive.
People are dying. How dare you?
Right. How dare you? And even if you said something, well, less people are dying, or this is happening, or whatever, people would really be mad that you took looked at the bright side.
Yeah.
People wanted no silver lining.
Yeah.
They didn't. And you were like this pariah if you had a happy outlook. That's fucking crazy. And I don't understand doing that. So I think in 2021, everybody should do that. This relationship didn't work out, but the next one will. Like, I think there's really just tremendous value in looking at things this way or that way in everything.
I think those people that have a problem with that are the people that are unhappy in some way. Like, they don't have, this is going to sound super corny, but like joy. We don't have like an underlying joy.
Right.
Then like external circumstances really fuck with you. You can't, like the weather, like my sister-in-law, I'm not saying she's not joyful. She's very joyful, but the weather really like messes with her head. And she focuses on it a lot. That's why she's leaving for warmer temperatures. But
see, well, that's
she'll have joy out there.
How do you think everybody has joy and you just need to know how to find a way to tap into it? We all have it, or some people just...
No, you lose it for
you're
sure.
You're just a Debbie Downer type.
You have to work on it. Sometimes you need medication for the joy, which is fine.
If you're just, a lot of it is chemically the way you react to things or absorb things, but...
You need to figure it out.
Find your joy. Yeah. And if, shouldn't be booty call at 11 p.m. with guys in the building. That's not joy.
No.
That's very short. That's a Band-Aid.
Dirty Band-Aid.
Find your joy. And we, as always, are selling hope here at the Great Love Debate. So when you send this in, that you paid attention that we do that, and you're going to be hopeful going into the new year, that's the best thing going. I think everybody's got to do that. I think everybody's got to just be hopeful for tomorrow. I don't even care what year it is. Like, I'm going to be more hopeful tomorrow than I was today, and things are going to work out. I do think you sort of practice what you preach, get what you put out there, whatever the little idioms are you want to say, that I think positive thinking matters. I do.
Yeah, I agree, for sure.
All right, next one. For the first time since my drunk college days, I am going to let a guy kiss me on the first date. It was a weird rule I always had, maybe because for me, kissing usually leads to sex, and I didn't want to have sex on the first date, but I usually have sex on the second date, so who cares, right? Maybe I should try kissing, but no sex. I'm going to be so ambitious this year. Let's do this. That's interesting.
That's very interesting.
That's boundaries. So let me get this straight. So he or she doesn't do anything. It's an all or nothing policy for this person.
This is a she. You can say
this is a she. So she.
We know.
So much more interesting if it was a he. They have an all or nothing policy. So if they just make out, they're going to bed with them. And now they're like, I'm going to try and just give a little appetizer and draw the line at that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, a lot of people who, because somebody asked this question, sent me, one of these dating coaches sent me this seminar thing they were doing. And one of the questions on it they had was, is it okay to not kiss a guy on a first date or a girl? And I'm like, of course it's okay. Yeah. But if you're doing it because you're playing games with yourself, you're sort of playing games with the other person, because the other person might interpret that as, we had a really good time. Normally we should probably end this date with a kiss of some kind. Mm-hmm. And you're not doing it because of this reason. And then you're basically screwing the other people because you're not giving them honest emotions.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't really throw that out there. You can't be like, listen, I want to kiss you, but if I do, we're going to go back to your place. You can't really say that either.
I feel like in my younger days I've said, look, I'm not going home with you. I'll kiss you, but nothing else is happening. I don't know. I've also made myself
that's reasonable.
at the end of a date.
Or is that putting a negative on it? Or if you're announcing, I'm doing this, I'm not doing that, that's kind of a downer too.
It's weird.
Can't you
just be normal with boundaries, and you can kiss goodnight, and then even if you go inside, you can be like, I can't, like, I'm not doing this.
What if you kissed him and said, be patient, there's more where that came from? Who would feel bad about that? Who would feel bad? You think that's too much information?
No, that's
a good idea.
It's a little corny, but it's a good idea.
What?
Yeah.
Who cares about corny?
I know. Well, girl,
no, that's
I don't know.
a good line.
All right. If
a little sneak preview.
Oh, a little sneak peek. There's more where that came
There's
from.
There's a little peek behind the curtain, but the theater's closed tonight.
Oh, Lord Jesus. I would be like, okay, and I'll block your number.
See, that's an excessive negative reaction.
I know. That's just, I've gotten so much better, but that's how I used to be all the time.
Which?
But just like, if a guy, I didn't sleep with him on the first date.
I get that, but you went out, you had a nice time, you had a good date, and at the end, he walks you to the door, car, whatever we used to do back during our normal dating days.
Yeah.
You kiss and say, this is fun, I'd like to do it again. The end. A lot of that has gone away because we don't walk to the cars. It's like, this is fun, thank you, there's my Uber, bye.
Or you go to their house the first time. That's the problem.
Or you go to their house the first time, but we always did that too. But yeah, the old, like, if I go to your house, there was no more like, we'll just make out on the couch for 20 minutes and then somebody leaves. It's really, once you cross that threshold, there's always a weird,
it's very awkward.
Staying?
It's so awkward. Yeah, that's hard. This person needs to just practice some boundaries. I think everything else will fall into place.
So what is the boundary? I think the boundary is that she does exactly what I said. Try it. She wants to kiss him and no sex. Kiss him and no sex.
Yeah.
Because then I think what you're overcompensating on the second date because you're like, oh my God, they're going to hate me because I didn't kiss him. I better go all in and put all my chips in the second. Yeah. That's not good either. You should go at the pace you want to go, but you need to communicate stuff like, even if you didn't want to kiss him, you should be like, if we do this again, you might get a kiss. Good. I would take that little nugget as hopeful.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, you do find me attractive. You just don't want to do it tonight.
Yeah. And I would probably flat out say that just like before we even walked to my car, I would just tell him before we even walked to my car, I just want to let you know I don't kiss on the first date. But
if I were going to kiss somebody, it would be you. Who wouldn't like that? That's better than the kiss. You like that and you're trying to say you don't like
no, I was processing. I was processing.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, that one
that's
wasn't
better
bad.
than the kiss.
Yeah,
probably.
That was, yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah,
so
that was
I think
good.
it's a good resolution.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. It's all good. Okay. Next one. This is one that's very precise. Okay. Brian, you said Scorpio discrimination is a real thing, and I agree with you. If I hear someone was born in October or November, I run screaming. But I'm not going to judge anymore. I'm going to give a Scorpio guy an honest shot in 2021. Maybe. Yikes. Okay.
Well, first of all,
I am a Scorpio.
I am a Scorpio, and so is the guy that I'm dating. So
two Scorpios.
Yeah. Yes.
Huh. And did you find that out? Are you aware of Scorpio discrimination?
Yes.
Have you discriminated against a Scorpio even though you are one?
I feel like it's predictable because I know, but there's so many other factors that go into it. I think I can handle a Scorpio because I am one, but the guy that I'm dating doesn't act like a Scorpio at all. It's bizarre, actually. But I am a Scorpio to a T.
And what does that mean?
Just intense on both ends of the spectrum. I think just like passionate. And
so is that something you put up with back to the earlier question? Like, I'm going to throw this out front. Listen, I'm a Scorpio. Do you have any problem with that? And no. I tend to act like a Scorpio.
Well, I was raised, instead of religion, we were raised with astrology. So that I actually.
What does that mean? Seances and stuff? Or is that a different
That was
thing?
high school. When I was younger, my grandma, the first thing she'll ask when she meets you, or she'll guess what your sign is. So that's my default. I immediately guess what the person is in my head quietly.
Right.
But I mean, it comes up pretty quickly for me.
Scorpio? Of course you are.
Of course.
I get that. Right. And it's such
They're good looking though.
Right. There's a little like nugget of a compliment in there with a layer of fear. Like I'm going to love you and you're going to fuck me over. There's a lot of things like that in there, but you're eliminating, more math, 12.5% of the, or 8.5% of the population. If you are eliminating 1/12 of the of the, is that right? That is right. Of the
wrong
people
person
just
asked.
because they happen to be born on a certain date.
Yeah.
Now, the real astrological crowd will be like,